didn't turn on the light. They didn't turn on the fucking light.
Well, they're probably right down the street. Yeah.
Maybe bring rain and shit.
And then we can get happy for God. So I guess this dude. All right, hey, shalom.
One.
Let me fix that camera. All right. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahawashai, Ba'ashim, Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. As you can see, we downtown, man. You know, the Lord's not going to have us down here for much longer. Through the Spirit, you know, this madness, you know, is basically not going to stop until Yahawashai returns. Okay, but, you know, you see the title of the lesson, okay, America can only be stopped by Yahawashai. Because basically, you know, there's like obviously a lot of memes floating around, you know, with the whole, you know, extraction of Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela. You know, Trump pretty much is, you know, showing his power, you know what I'm saying? Which he's the president of the United States of America, right? Which is the whore that rides on the beast according to prophecy. Okay? America is that whore. So right now, matter of fact, we can touch on that real quick, Revelation 17. You know what I mean? Because basically everybody has gotten in bed with America to where, like, anybody that tries to buck up against her is going to be met with destruction. No one country can come up against America, right? You got it real quick?
Yeah. This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 1. It says, "And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters."
See that? The great whore that sits upon many waters is talking about Babylon the Great. Okay? Babylon the Great, America, man. All right, you ask, you know, a Christian, plantation Christianity, anti-Messiah pastor, what is Babylon the Great? Are they going to tell you it's America? Or are they going to say, I don't know? Okay? Most likely the latter, right? Good. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Revelation 17 and 2. It says, "With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication."
Yeah, so the kings of the earth, okay, are these other nations, okay, across the world, man. Which, you know, like the scripture says, there's no end of all the people. So all these other nations are still on the earth, okay? All the other nations from the Bible are still on the earth. So majority of the countries that are in power right now are ruled by Edomites, but you have other countries too that are ruled by, you know, like Moab, you know, Ammon, and you know, the other, you know, Elam, Ishmael, you know, they're all in bed with America too, economically, okay? Because you have two major connections. You have economic connections, right? And then you have military connections, okay? So, for example, the European Union, okay, is an economic connection or conglomerate of countries, all right, that trade economically. That's why when you go over there to Europe, okay, currency, except for Great Britain, you know, they exited the European Union, but they're still part of NATO. They're still part of the beast system. Okay, they just detached themselves from the same currency as the other countries that are part of the European Union. So now they, you know, they went back to the British pound, but the other countries over there, they all use the euro, right? But so they're, you know, that's the beast system, okay, economically. And then militarily, you have NATO, right? The NATO nations, a lot of them are the same as the European Union nations. Okay, and so all of these nations that are part of the beast system, which is the revived Roman Empire and their vassal states, okay, are in league or are in bed economically and or militarily with Babylon the Great. Okay, so basically, they can't turn on their allies, right? That would be basically treason. But what happens if there's a disagreement within the the system? That's what you're seeing right now. Okay, and that's why the scriptures later on go to say that the beast, the dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns are going to turn to hate the Lord. All right. Now, can you get that scripture? Unless you have one, can you get that in Jeremiah 50?
Okay. Not verse 22.
Yeah.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 22, it says, "A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?"
Salaki, can you read verse 22 again?
Okay. Jeremiah 50 and 22, it says, "A sound of battle is in the land."
Yeah, because ultimately World War III, and in these devil's minds, especially Trump, bro, he's on go mode. You know what I mean? He don't care. Like they on Sunday they was bragging, bro. They was big time bragging, bro. Like no other country, like literally, like no other country in the earth would have been able to pull off. When we pulled off in Venezuela, we went in there. We didn't suffer any casualties. We didn't lose any equipment. Basically, we like flawless victory. Like you play somebody on Mortal Kombat, and you so cold at that shit, you didn't even get touched. Like they didn't even land no punch, no nothing. Right? So they were bragging on, the military might that they have, how they were able to overwhelm Venezuela's infrastructure, shut down their electric grid, do strikes, surgical strikes in other parts of the country to distract them, confuse them, to the intent that they could extract Maduro, all right, from the capital, which they were able to do. Okay, and so America is flexing its muscles, right? So what's going to happen is, eventually, the build up, all right, because when you look at World War I and World War II, that the events that led up to World War I and World War II took years, I'll go to say even more than a decade of building up before it actually officially, quote unquote, officially started. Okay? For example, I'll give you an example. Hitler fought in World War I. Adolf Hitler was a World War I soldier, okay, in the 1920s. And then he ended up invading, what was it? I want to say it was Poland, yeah, kind of the water, right? And what was it, like 1938 or some shit? Then they're 20 years later, 1939, whatever year, one of those years, right? So that's 20 years of buildup, okay? So the buildup has been happening here too, and we're seeing it. Okay, let's continue on.
And if I may add too, which was because of the economic state that Germany was in as well. From the debt that they accrued during World War I, was the reason that Hitler was, he was able to galvanize people to come up against the international banking families.
Right. Create the Nazi Party, eliminate the political rivals.
Yeah.
Okay, and pretty much come to power as the commander.
Yeah.
But when you look at his career, talking about Hitler, when he got into power, like nobody thought he was gonna go to war. Nobody thought that people was gonna that he was gonna basically get people to go to war.
Yeah.
He created a sense of nationalism. Okay, a strong sense of nationalism to galvanize the people under one, basically, one
banner.
One banner. You know what I mean? And he was highly favored amongst the public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he used that power to wage basically the largest war that the world has seen up until that point. But World War III is going to supersede that, man. And we're seeing the buildup of these things. Okay, World War III is going to be, there ain't going to be no World War IV or World War V. Ain't nobody talking about that shit. It's going to be, World War III is going to be the war to end all wars, man. Okay? All right, now let's go ahead and finish that about
Verse Jeremiah 50 and 23. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder?
Now that hammer is because during all the fighting that's going to be happening, okay, basically, Yahawashi is going to come in, all right, and step in and basically obliterate both sides, okay? Well, as we read about that in 2nd Ezra 13th chapter, right? Yahawashi going to come in and stop all the fighting. They're going to basically try to team up against Yahawashi. That's how much of a threat that they're going to feel when they see, that fathership come down, all right, to wipe this devil out, okay? Now, it says the hammer of the earth, that's talking about Babylon the Great, okay? Specifically in this verse, the hammer of the earth is Babylon the Great. All right, you should be taking notes. Go ahead.
It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?
Right. Also, Isaiah 14, where it talks about as I come into me. You know what I'm saying, real quick? Read that again,
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 23.
Yeah, because, again, the title of the lesson is America can only be stopped by Yahawashi, right? Because this devil, he's going to keep going no matter what. He's not going to stop.
Yeah.
Okay? Go ahead.
How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken?
Right. Who's going to do that? Yahawashi. Okay, go ahead.
How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations?
See that? Babylon. All right. Now, real quick, let's get Psalms 137 and 7 to link Babylon the Great with Esau. Real quick. Because I'm going to quote this one, but 2nd Ezra 6 and 9 talk about Esau being the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it, right? So Esau, all right, the self-proclaimed white man, Edom, that is the nation that's going to be in power, okay, when the Lord returns, okay? Which that's the nation that's in power right now. So we know we're in those times. Go ahead.
Continue.
No, Rick, let's just get that. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Psalms 137 and 7. It says, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof.
Right, because Esau was the one that was always down for us getting burnt up, us getting destroyed and judged, right? Esau was always there, okay? When you go into First Maccabees, all right, during the Maccabean revolt, we had to fight against Esau that time, right? Esau's always been there to oppose us. Go ahead.
It says, verse 8, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed.
Right, the daughter of Babylon, man. Okay, which we know, once we go back to Isaiah, go into Isaiah 14, that's talking about Esau. All right, it just said Esau in verse 7. Okay, now it's proclaiming the daughter of Babylon or Esau's destiny. Okay, go ahead.
It says, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us.
Right. All right, we're going to be happy, right? Because that's why in Revelation, 3 and 10, okay, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Okay, he that leadeth in that captivity shall go into captivity. And then it says, here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay? All right, so what we're looking for is for this devil to go down. That's what we want, man. That's what we're praying for, man. Okay? So that was happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast, served us, man. All right, we're gonna do. That's why the scripture says in Revelation 18, render unto her double, okay, according to her works, okay, because basically this devil has just, pillaged the earth, And he thinks, well, I know y'all got precepts, so let's get that. But I'm gonna quote another one. In Psalms, what is it, 50 or 51? Thou thoughtest that thou
Yeah.
altogether was that I was such a one as thyself. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, where it's at. I think it's Psalms 50.
Yeah.
50, right?
Psalms chapter 50, verse. I'm gonna start at verse 16. It says, "But unto the wicked Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes?"
Yeah, Esau, man. Esau, the self-proclaimed white man, all right, is trying to act like he's of that number. they put it in that line. Yeah. A dude might have. I think a dude just died. We're not bullshitting. The lights, the ambulance, right across the street. The dude was just laid out on the ground. They called the ambulance. I don't know if he was like homeless or whatever, but I think he might have either just suffered a severe injury. He was just walking, started coughing. I don't know if he just gave up the ghost just now or,
But niggas, they be acting like they heard to get a free meal and shit. You never know.
I don't know. Yeah, but I think it was cough. I couldn't even fake cough like that.
Yeah, nah, for
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, go ahead. Can you finish that? Is the song? That's something quickly. Yeah, finish that, right?
It's okay. Okay, come on, there. Who's reading?
Or
In the Psalms 50.
yeah, go ahead.
Psalms 50 and 17. Seeing thou hatest destruction and castest my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, thou consentest with him, and hast been partakers with adulterers. It says, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit.
Yeah, that's all Esau does. Okay, they talk about slander almost, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we call him the devil. His tongue frames deceit. Okay, that's all he does. He doesn't sleep until he causes some to basically fall.
Like the whole situation in Venezuela. His whole reason as to why he's telling the people he went up in there is because of fentanyl being transported across the border.
Yeah, and drugs, and
cocaine, and
yeah,
all bullshit. Which he's in there for the oil and the reserve, man, the gold. We know it's a money thing, and to take away resources from the Venezuela's trading partners, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm trying to remember. I think it was in the 70s when Venezuela basically federalized their oil economy. You know what I'm saying? And started trading, basically allowing foreign companies to come in because they didn't really have technology or the infrastructure to be as profitable as they could have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you got these companies like Chevron, see, we think of it because we're the consumers, right? Like, okay, a Shell gas station, Chevron, Exxon, Mobil, they basically are the gas stations. But no, these companies have the equipment to drill, okay, and process and sell the oil. Okay, so they have these, companies that are, that's when Trump was talking about we're gonna have our big, best companies in the world come in and, set up. When you federalize, that means that you are allowing foreign companies to come in and partake. That's why we was friends, with Venezuela, back then. But they basically shut it back down to where they wanted to keep it all in house. In recent decades, that's pretty much how it's been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why, since I think it was in '99, Hugo Cesar Chavez in '99, basically he came to power, and basically was trying to reorganize the government, and then, he had high ratings amongst the people, and then once he stepped down, all right, Maduro came in, okay, and basically since then, you know what I'm saying? It's been all type of messed up, man. And they use the dollar out there too. Their currency failed. You know what I'm saying? So they use the dollar out there. But Trump wants that oil, man. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, verse 20, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son.
Yeah, Esau and Jacob and Esau, they're brothers, right? So Esau, Revelation 12 and 12? The accuser of our brethren is cast down, right? believe that's the one.
Yeah.
He talks about that. You know what I mean? Who's the accuser? Esau. You know what I mean? Ultimately, he's the physical one that's actually saying, like, you know, look, I think that's also in Jeremiah 50 where it talks about, like, basically, the shepherds have caused them to go astray, and they said, look, we're not doing no sin because these people going off. We just, yeah, they causing the error. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's it. They hold themselves not guilty. You know what I'm saying? Because we going off as a nation. They try to, you know, Esau try to use that as a case. Well, no, you know, these guys, you know, we're really helping them, you know? You know what I mean?
Usual suspects, right?
Yeah. Right? But that's it on there, right?
What was the last verse?
Okay.
It's like it's
Yeah.
It says, verse 21, these things thou hast done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee.
Yeah. The Lord said these things Esau did, and the Lord kept silent, meaning because the Lord, he pretty much, you know, is long suffering. What did we say?
Blessings, Poppy.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a troll. Troll. But they you know, like I said, the Lord is long suffering, man. You know what I mean? Like he'll wait until it's time to strike. Okay, until that case is built up to where the judgment that's gonna come is 444. Right. The judgment that's gonna come is gonna be justified.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, because that's why the judgment is like like people think that, like, okay, yeah, wickedness, like that's the way to go. Like, it's going to go unpunished just because it's gone for so long, right?
Yeah.
This place has been around, what, 250 years? Which really ain't even that long. I was looking at a timeline to kind of visualize.
Yeah.
Bro, like, 250 years, that's 50 years is, like, not even a whole lifetime. So that's like, what, four generations?
Yeah.
Really, we look at it, you know? But
Yeah.
this place is on its way out, man. Okay, because the last verse was thou thought that I was such a one as thyself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that last part?
Yep. It says, Psalms 50 and 21, these things thou hast done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself.
Yeah, because to them, like to Esau, like basically, it's been so long since he got his ass whooped, like by the Lord, like since he got humbled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because since the Renaissance, basically, like he's been, you know, gaining, and overall he's been winning and winning, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The 1300s, 1400s. Since then he's been coming to power, kicking ass, taking names, setting up his shit in the earth, right? And to the point where he's thinking like, all right, well the Lord must be with me because, I mean, I haven't gotten jacked up yet. No other nation has been able to overpower me yet.
Yeah.
Right? Since the Renaissance. So that's what they glorified that time. They were like, look, that was the rebirth. That was the rebirth of white supremacy or Edomite supremacy, right? That was
It's manifest destiny.
right.
There's a little more.
Go ahead.
It says, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And if I may, that's that reproval is coming through the Lord waking us back up, giving us the insights of what's about to happen. We know these things as you spoke about, the beast hating the whore. I know we see the build up to that, the climax to that. You know, the trade being taken over and monopolized by the states. That's a big reason for war to happen. The Elder Ariala like to say is you take a man's sandwich, all right, that gives people something to want to fight for.
Done. That's right. All right. What you got there?
I got Psalms 10 real quick.
Go ahead.
It's Psalms 10, and I'm going to read from 4 down to 7 quickly. It says, the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after YAHAWASHI.
Yeah, and the countenance is basically your face. You know, like you got your nose turned up, like because you think that you can't be touched. The pride of his countenance, you could tell these devils are proud. Like even that Jake that was like, yeah, he just walked in front of the video. It was just public space, but you see how some people they have a level of reverence towards what we're doing, and other people that just act like we don't exist.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's the pride of countenance of Esau. It's a small example of it, but a bigger example is what Esau just did to Venezuela. And like, look, who gonna stop me?
Yeah.
He like what 2011 Kanye West. Who gonna stop me? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says, verse 5, it says, his ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far above out of his sight.
Yeah, yeah. It says his ways, Esau's ways, are always grievous. Okay, and basically he don't see the judgment coming. He don't have the foresight that we. Go ahead.
It says, as for all his enemies, he puffeth at them.
Yeah. Oh, man, these Venezuelans, they're not even considered a challenge. Like, and really anybody else that wants to try us, y'all can get the hands too. You know what I mean? Hey, matter of fact, we might hit up Colombia next. They doing a lot of bullshit too. Or hey, we might go into Cuba. Cuba's all fucked up. We might take their little whatever they got. You know what I'm saying? Cuba is, see, but notice these are all basically predominantly Jake. See, that's Northern Kingdom. That's why the Northern Kingdom, Northern, they're not safe, bro. Esau can come in there and jack your shit up too, which he already has during the colonial period. But America has shown itself to be like, look, we can come in there and we can take over anybody. If anybody wants these hands or don't want to be empowered, like if you got some shit for us that's worth us taking, or if you just don't, bow the knee to us, right? Because basically, it was last year when Colombia basically wasn't trying to receive the deportees back to their country, or it might have been vice versa. He was trying to send some people to Colombia, but I think people was getting deported from Colombia, and the president over there, the minister, whatever his fucking title is, didn't want to take them in, and Trump was like, look, nigga, if you don't let us ship these niggas back over there into your country, all right, we're gonna up the tariffs on your ass. Yeah. Okay, and basically whatever like imports, that shows you that America is a huge economic business partner with Colombia. Okay, Colombia is one of their exports, not their biggest, but one of their exports is coffee. So I'm just speaking. I don't know that I haven't fact checked it, but imagine if Starbucks was a huge purchase buyer of Colombian exported coffee beans, right? But Trump puts a tariff on that shit to where, all right, basically they priced them out of the market. We're gonna go get our coffee beans from somebody else, from another country that prices it at a similar price. That's gonna destroy the coffee bean market, export market in Colombia. So just a hypothetical situation, right? So that's why they're like, okay, no. That's why tariffs work. Tariffs only work because people want to talk shit about tariffs. Tariffs only work when you have the buying power. So a tariff is not, we're taxing the stuff that you buy from us. No, they're taxing the imports. The tax on the imports. So in order to sell to us, we're going to tax that import, which is going to price you out of the market because there's other people that make the same product that's not getting that tariff on the imports that we're receiving in. All right, they're gonna the companies in the United States are going to buy from those countries that do not have those high tariffs on there. Okay, if that makes sense. So that's why the tariff works when Trump does it, or when America does it, because we import the most shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're a consumer-based economy, right? Whereas Colombia couldn't do that shit to us because we don't buy shit from Colombia.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, they don't buy as much stuff as we do from them. If that makes sense. Their economy is not as demanding. Okay, we buy all their stuff. Even if they bought all their stuff from us, it still wouldn't equate to how much we buy from them, right? My bad. Go ahead, though. Whatever y'all got. What was it? Was that what you had?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I know I asked for Habakkuk 2:5 at the beginning, but I want to get y'all precepts.
Jeremiah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 24. It says, I have laid a snare for thee. Thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware.
Yeah, so that's why any of these countries that they're not, I mean, they're going to have to team up, of course, right? We all know that the beast shall turn to hate the whore, and they're gonna end up fighting, all right, amongst each other, all right. But like Elder Ariala said on his lesson on Sunday, all right, basically America is Vivo, man. Like it's going and basically kicking ass and taking names and saying, "Hey, we want more smoke." That was just a warm up. We want more smoke.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only way he can be stopped is through intervention of Yahawah Shah. Go ahead, right?
It says, "Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh Bashim Yahushua."
Yeah, you see. So he's gonna be caught, all right, by the Lord. And Nahum 3:5 talks about that. Basically, him being revealed, because he has to be revealed first. Also, 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, right? That man of sin being revealed. So now that he's been revealed now, okay, as the devil, now we're seeing, okay, damn, like all the shit this devil did is him. And guess what? He's gonna pay for it. He's gonna have to pay for it, man. And we see he's still doing shit.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna stop. Esau's not gonna humble down and say, you know what, we've had enough, we've conquered enough. They fighting amongst themselves. You saw the shit with Denmark. Denmark's like, look, man, why the hell are you trying to take Greenland? You know what I mean? That would be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Esau against Esau. Even Russia predominantly Edomites. You know what I mean? But they're anti-America, man. Okay? Militarily, at least, go ahead.
It says, verse 25, "The Lord hath opened up his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation."
Right, the weapons of his indignation, all right, are the ICBM missiles, all right, as well as the chariots. Okay, the chariots are going to come in and do damage, of course, like it talks about that in detail, all right, and Habakkuk, what is it, Habakkuk? Is it Habakkuk? Talk about the hiding child. Yep. Yeah, Habakkuk, if you want to get that, you can. Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
If I may say too, the Lord said he would put hooks into Gog and Magog's jaws,
Right,
as well. So that's a weapon as well.
Yeah.
We see that the trade war, that's pretty. I mean, we could call it a trade war, but it's getting physical. That's going on. It's affecting the markets of these major economies like China and like Russia. The fact that they can't get oil as easily, well, it has a big effect.
Right. Well, they're doing their best to, what's it called? They're doing their best to decentralize.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Basically, they want to be able to get. Well, that's why you got the BRICS nations. They want to be able to, de-dollarize really, because the main thing is oil, bro. You know what I'm saying? And oil is traded with the U.S. dollar. All right, they want to be able to find a way, and China don't have the resources. They don't have no oil.
Yeah.
The niggas need to buy the oil, but they're a manufacturing giant of the world. All right, so if you got Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa all teaming up, those are huge markets. You know what I mean? That they can kind of leverage that stuff better than they could without. Or by themselves, all right? But that's all to an end to decentralize themselves from relying so much on American, because basically in order to do business with America, you gotta kiss their ass.
Yeah.
Like you can't do anything that they don't like, otherwise, whoever the president is just gonna fuck you up. Because it changes every 4 years, so it ain't like you know what I'm saying? It's not like you can just be friends, like you don't know how the election's gonna go like that. Who's gonna be next?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, this horror is becoming more and more unpopular. Go ahead.
This is Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 3 and 4. It says, God, or Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, came from Teman.
Yeah, Teman is a chief Edomite city back in the ancient world, all right, which represents Esau's wisdom. You know what I mean? It was known for its wisdom. Go ahead.
It says, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah, his glory covered the heavens.
Yeah, see, he's going to be coming back from destroying these Edomite territories, all right? Because the border of wickedness is wherever Esau is, okay? So wherever his shit is at, wherever his hubs are, that's the border of wickedness. All right, so we're in the border of wickedness right now. Okay, and he's gonna come glorious, man. All right, after he triumphs over them. Okay, go ahead.
It says, his glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise.
Right, you see that? So just like how Trump was gloating in how he was able to come in and surgical strike Venezuela and get their their guy out of there, get what's the name out of there? Maduro, right? And he was gloating in that, he was glorying in that. The Lord's gonna gloat and glory on how he was able, or how he was, destroying Edomites, man. Okay, Esau, Edom. Okay, which is self-proclaimed white man. Go ahead.
Verse 4, Habakkuk 3 and 4, it
And
says,
guess who's going to be cheering him on? All right, his men, the believers in Yahawah Yahawashi. We're going to say, call halal Yahawah Yahawashi. The water Yahawah Yahawashi. Thank you, Lord, for taking this devil down. Go ahead.
it says, and his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand.
Yeah, so the chariots, all right, of salvation, which is what the world calls U8 Ps, right?
Yeah.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon, which Trump, when he was in his first term, he put the 6th branch of the military, the Space Force. What the hell you need a Space Force for? This ain't Star Wars, but it's gonna be Star Wars when the Lord comes back with his chariots. Okay, that's why you know what I mean? Try to maintain military dominance in the space too. Okay, you already got the Air Force. What the hell you need the Space Force for? Because they're gonna be up there, all right, trying to maintain military dominance, man. Okay, but they're gonna get destroyed up there too. Okay, you got something?
Yeah, there's a movie I watched yesterday. It's called The Brother from Another Planet. It's like an old 1984, but it's a movie based in New York. And the premise of the movie is basically this ancient looking Jake crash lands from a spaceship, and he's like an alien hybrid with like a slave. He kind of dressed like a slave, and he can't speak, but he lands in New York City, and basically the movie lets you know that it's talking about the scriptures. It's all talking about the scriptures. At the end of the movie, it's revealed that he's being basically watched by angels, and it's all Jake. It's all black people, you know. But it was a spiritual movie. It made me think about what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you know, they know.
Yep.
But
that was it on that.
that was it on that.
Okay, good. And then what else did I call for? I see some
Habakkuk 2.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Habakkuk 2:5, and there was another one that I had at the very beginning before Habakkuk 2. Before we started.
Isaiah 14.
Ezekiel 28. Ezekiel 28. You said verse 6, right?
I forgot
About Isaiah. Get like 2 or 3 more,
I'm gonna get this real quick. Let's
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man."
Yeah, this devil. Matter of fact,
It says, "Behold his soul which is not lifted up."
yeah, it's right there.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him."
Yeah, that's talking about Esau, man. Okay, the 2 main players, all right, nationality-wise, the 2 main players on the earth in prophecy are Jacob and Esau. You got to get that. You got to get that through your head. Okay, that's the reason why Esau is mentioned continually. All right, constantly throughout prophecy. Of course, Jacob, Israel is going to be mentioned the most. But the second, matter of fact, let's Google this shit. What's the second most commonly, second most frequently mentioned biblical nation in prophecy? Okay, you know what I mean? What's the second most biblically mentioned or referenced nation in prophecy? Okay, in the Old Testament prophecy, because all of you have entire chapters, the entire book of Obadiah, all right, it's talking about Esau and his downfall, man. All right, did anything come up?
Yeah, I typed it in.
What is it?
It's listed. Yeah, it's listed kingdoms, not really like nations of people necessarily.
Well, sometimes you gotta correct ChatGPT.
I'm doing. Yeah.
I'm talking because Egypt I mean, you know, I'm talking about of the 18 nations. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? In Genesis 10. You know.
Yeah. It says clean ranking,
There you go.
nations only. It
See,
says,
but Egypt isn't. I mean,
Right.
they're Hamites.
right,
But okay, go ahead and read it. Go ahead.
kind. It says,
The ranking or whatever.
it says number 1 Israel,
Right.
number 2 Egypt.
Right. And I can see Egypt, but Babylon is known as Sodom and Egypt.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. See that this one's this brother's this one's is right. That's why ChatGPT y'all ask the same question. Sometimes it gets different answers.
Well, I kind of changed a little bit. Oh, and then fuck it.
But go
And
ahead.
then number 3, it says Edom,
Right. And then keep going.
Moab,
Right.
and then Philistine.
The Philistines, or Philistines, right? But Edom was really the number 2 commonly mentioned one. But I already knew what it was going to say, because a lot of times when it talks about Egypt, it's like can be compared to Edom, to Esau today.
Yeah.
You saw something?
It says it basically categorizes not only what nations but why and what kind of verbiage is used.
Right.
It says for Edom, it says heavy judgment language.
Of course. Well, that's why whenever you're talking about judgment, you know, and getting judged, Esau, Babylon the Great, that's going to come up. Okay, I never Googled it before. I never looked it up, but I already knew it was going to be the second most. It says Egypt is number 1, which I can see that, but you can draw parallels to what Esau is, doing, because Esau is Egypt was the first captor of Israel, like the first, like, you know what I mean, oppressor of Israel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But who's the oppressor now? Who's the captor now? So that's why it talks about in Revelation 11 and 8, right? You know, Babylon the Great is spiritually Sodom and Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it's one and the same. And these sons, because the current Egypt, them niggas ain't doing shit over there. I'm talking about the land of Egypt. You know what I mean? You know, because Egypt was a superpower of the ancient world. Even after the Lord took it down, it's still, you know what I mean, eventually built itself back up, and it was still a dominant force in the earth because of the Nile. You know what I'm saying? It was always going to have that agricultural importance. You gonna say something?
Well, yeah, like you were saying, because again, you got to remember, Egypt, Matazarium means double straits.
That's right.
And Egypt got their wealth because of the captivity that the nation of Israel was in, and it's the same thing with America, right? America was built upon Southern Kingdom's back,
Right.
and then but it's been preserved, and we even have an example with the Venezuela thing. It's being preserved by the Northern Kingdom,
Right.
you know, the wealth of America. So you see the beginning and the end of why it's called Egypt, Matazarium, double straits, and because they got the nation of Israel in captivity.
That's right. Good. What's up?
Yeah, Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4, it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
Yeah, so he's proud, but you a proud demon. You're not even righteous and proud, which is kind of even in itself as an oxymoron. But he's proud, all right, and he's going off. Okay, go ahead.
It says, but the just shall live by his faith.
Right, and in contrast, all right, the elect, all right, starting with the elect, all right, we're gonna live by faith in YAHAWASHI. Okay, we don't have no reason to be proud. Okay, go ahead.
Yea, also, verse 5, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home.
Right. So he transgressing by wine. Oh, and the wine is the philosophies of this devil. Okay, democracy, you know, what's some other ones? His philosophies of, like, you know, Christianity,
Yeah.
you know, Zionism, all these different things that he supports.
Yeah.
You know, men with men and women with women. Yeah, fractional reserve banking. You know, fiat currency. All right, all of these things that are corrupt. Okay, and the heavy debt that he pushes. You know, which talks about that specifically, right? The interest that he charges, usury. Okay, the war that he wages and tries to justify it. Okay, those are all part of his wicked philosophy, which is the what's it say? The wine.
Yep. It says, yep. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell.
Yeah, this man has. China has two military bases outside of its own country. America has 800. China is the second largest military in the world, and it only has two military bases compared to outside of its own country. I'm talking about U.S. I'm talking about embassy, like military bases. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Compared to America's got 800. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So this devil, he don't keep it home. He always in somebody else's business. All right, trying to make sure that they're falling in line with his interests. You know what I'm saying? So eventually they're gonna kick back. The other nations, they're gonna turn their pitchforks, or their what is it called, their pruning hooks.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a spears. You know what I'm saying? And basically say, look, you know, we're gonna shoot our, you know, little F-13s or whatever. We got three of them hoes. That's all they can afford. But they gonna shoot every little missile that they got, okay, at America. All right. Is there any more?
Yeah, there's a little bit more.
Okay.
It says,
We close out on this.
Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death.
You see that? The hell, that lets you know right there. The grave, all right, which is that's the word for hell, is sha'awal, which is a pit or a grave. Okay? Just like the grave never gets full of dead bodies, right? He enlarged his desire as hell. Okay, he's continually always hungry for more, you know, resources until he's gobbled everything up. He don't want the other nations to have shit. Okay, even within, you know, within his nation, you know, they're fighting amongst each other. They're fighting amongst their own family. You know what I mean? So he's never gonna rest until he's, you know what I mean? He's never gonna rest until he's taken out of power. Okay? When has Esau said, you know what, man, you know, we're strong enough, we're good enough, we're rich enough, like we're good, like we don't have to wage war no more, like we good. He's never said that, and he never will. Okay, he's gonna go down on his sword. He's gonna be a good slave in the kingdom too. All right, because he's gonna give us a reason to whoop him, man. You know, and chastise him, put hell on him, because he's never gonna get right. He's just gonna continue to buck up until he gets. That's why gonna have to be destroyed. You know what I mean? And Isaiah talks about after many days he shall be visited. Okay, after the 1,000 years, okay, of him being in captivity. All right, because you can't just have the devil floating around in the earth, in the kingdom of heaven forever. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's gonna be catching hell, but you know, like still, that's not enough. He's gonna eventually have to just be taken out of the way in order for peace and tranquility to really flourish on the earth. Right? So hey man, Lord willing, Abba thought is an edifying lesson, man. All right, with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles, great millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.